Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time. My name is Gary Fowler, and I am the CEO, president, and co-founder of GSD Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. And it's with great pleasure today that I bring on board Kingsley Kobayashi. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Kingsley is an incredible individual. He has been involved in blockchain. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's an author. He moved from Nigeria to Japan and has incredible stories. He's been on in all facets of technology, as I said, from blockchain to clean tech. So with that, I'd like to bring my friend, Kingsley Kobayashi, on board.
Thank you very much, Gary. It's good to be here. It's good to see you again. And my name is Kingsley Kobayashi. I am the founder and chairman of Kobayashi Group. I am a serial entrepreneur, investor in traditional finance, blockchain, technology, among other things. I've been in Asia for about 30 years or more, and mainly in Japan. I traveled around the world for different seminars, different investment opportunities. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Gary, for having me.
Okay, I have a question, Kingsley. How hard was it to learn Japanese?
Yeah, well, I was younger then, and I have always been good with languages. I speak about 8 languages and dialects. So, luckily for me, when I got to Japan, there are similarities with the syllabus in Japan and that of Benin Empire, where I come from in Nigeria. So, for example, ame is water in Japan. Domo is domo. So I was lucky to have that connection with Japan, and that is why I'm able to say that. It took me about 2 years to actually grasp Japanese and grasp you have katakana, hiragana, and kanji, and they are all different. You have to actually study every one of them. So it took me about 2 years to have a grasp of it and to actually speak and understand what they are talking about.
Now, can you write in Japanese, Kingsley, now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. You broke up for a little bit there.
Yes, I can. Yeah, sorry, I'm back in Nigeria now. I do have one of the best internet at home, but it still breaks off now and then.
What I was asking you is, I said, can you write Japanese now?
Yes, I can. I am a Japanese citizen, so you have to be able to write and read Japanese to become a Japanese citizen.
That is amazing. That is incredible.
Yeah.
And what other languages do you speak besides English and Nigerian? What other languages?
I speak Chinese, I speak Czech, I speak 4 different African languages. I understand Taiwanese. It's a little bit different from Chinese because I was in Taiwan for some time, for about a year when I studied Chinese for a little bit. So I pick up languages easily. I'm not a linguist. I cannot say I'm a linguist, but I speak and understand about 8 different languages and dialects.
Wow, that's incredible. And can you write in Mandarin too, or Cantonese?
I could write at the beginning, but when I started studying Japanese, I kind of forgot, how to write my Mandarin because it's different. It's similar, but it's really different. Once you mix them up, you have, the way they say Yama and Yama is, it's the same mountain, but it is written in a different way. Yama means mountain, but when you write it, it's different. So one has to be very careful how you put them together.
That's incredible. Wow, you're amazing. So tell me a little bit about it. So you come over to Japan 30 years ago. What made you decide to do it?
Well, I first moved to Asia and I first moved to Hong Kong. And from Hong Kong, I went to Taiwan. I was actually doing trading because my first company, Harry King's Investment, I founded when I was 21 years old. And what I did was, there was no internet then, there was no Google to search for things, there was no way to raise money for startups. I would go to those who have the money with ideas from different people, and then I would go to Hong Kong, Taiwan, bring the products back to Nigeria, resell it, and then we all share the profit 3 ways. So I was opportunity to be traveling like this and making little money. Then I got to Japan. I just fell in love with it. The people are humble. They are, in a population where you have more than 60% doing martial arts, and yet they don't fight. Nobody fights outside. Nobody. They
Right,
don't drink.
60% do martial arts, but they don't fight.
They don't fight. Nobody fights. Everybody's like, it's a country where somebody matches your leg. You say, I'm sorry. And he say, I'm sorry. You both apologize to each other. First, I have my leg on the road, and then he matches the leg. So we both apologize to each other. So, I mean, the culture is so accepting to me, and it's a country where you can make it legitimately. If you can think out of the box, legitimately. You don't have to do any illegal stuff to make it. You can work hard and reinvest your money in different ways and actually become somebody.
Really, that's incredible. And what about the employment there? They used to have lifetime employment. Do they still have that?
Yeah, some companies do have that, but personally, I worked for some time. I was given opportunity by Mr. G to for the purpose of this conversation. I'll call him Mr. G, who gave me an opportunity to manage his entertainment industry at a time where blacks were not even in that category. So I got a job. I did very well with the job. I got to meet people who were not up there. Everybody, that was everybody. Richard Branson, DiCaprio, Dennis Hopper when he was here alive. Anybody from every country came to his entertainment industry, and that gave me a leeway to becoming who I am today, because I met right people who are okay. I want to be like this person. I want to grow like this, and I got help from that community, and I'm grateful to him. Really.
Wow, that's amazing. So you were meeting with quite a range, Dennis Rodman to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I met
that's quite a
all of
range.
them. Yeah,
Were they
Claude Van
nice?
Damme. Oh,
Were they
they
nice?
were very nice. They were very nice. They were very nice. I mean, met in my life. He was nice. He was super nice. Yeah. He
Who
was
was
not
that again,
pompous.
Kingsley? Who was that? Did
Dennis
you say?
Dennis Hopper.
Ah, Dennis Hopper. Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the best human beings I ever met. It was a lovely man. He came in with DiCaprio, and he was just lovely. P Diddy. I met a lot of people. And I have not seen one that was really mean. I mean, there's one or two, but I'm not going to mention their name. But the truth is, they were actually nice, and because I was giving them service, and they were happy about the service I was giving them, and that gave me an opportunity to learn more about the entertainment industry, learn more about hospitality, and combine that with my trading abilities. And when the blockchain thing came up, I was able to key into it because I had all these informations, and I went into that partnership with my business partner, Tony Evans.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what's Kobayashi doing, Kingsley, today. What kind of projects are you working on?
Yeah, Kobayashi Group is a versatile company. We have different sectors attending to different things around the world. First of all, we have the blockchain sector that we invest in projects built on blockchain, whether it's payment system, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's healthcare innovations during the COVID pandemic. We invest in that area. When it comes to traditional finance, we invest in commercial real estate. I have my own pharmaceutical company, HBK Naturalist, that produces natural herbal drugs for people around the world. That's you can actually.
Is it a big
Uh,
company? What kind? How big is your company, Kingsley?
it's big. It's big. I'm lucky. I have about 15 different companies on that Kobayashi Group actually. So
Mhm.
it's big. It's big. It's worldwide. It's around. We have companies in Europe. We have companies in all around Africa. We have companies in Asia, especially Japan, and it's huge. It's big. I'm grateful.
That's great. Fantastic. So tell me a little bit more. So doing business in Japan, how easy is that?
It's pretty easy. That is what people don't understand. The language is the first barrier you have to cross. I am of the belief that if you want to succeed in any country in the world, you have to respect their culture, tradition, and custom. If you go there to boss anybody around or try to bend the rules or break the rules, you will not succeed. You know, Japan is a country that if I say go and bring this document, you will definitely find that document to bring to establish your company. Another thing that Japan is very particular about is, are you paying your taxes? You have to understand that Japan is a country that does not have natural resources like Africa. They depend on taxes to run their economy. So if you are paying your taxes, they really respect that, and they will push you forward to become successful.
That's great. So it's a matter of taxes.
Yeah.
Interesting. So tell us a little bit about, so what are some of the other, what are the hottest companies in the Kobayashi group today? And what about technology? Are you the utilization of technology? I know you're involved in blockchain.
Yes, the actually in Africa, looking into I actually started with waste to power energy. I was involved with waste to power energy, and that does two things. As you all know, there's a lot of garbage out there on the streets of Africa or Nigeria in particular, where I come from. And the best way to get rid of the waste and at the same time give energy that they don't have is turning waste into power. So we are solving two problems at the same time. But we also have to look at solar energy. I'm working with a company right now called Solar Chain. They are involved in creating energy for smaller people, not the big companies. You know, every household has a generator in Africa or in Nigeria that gives them power. And the truth is, an average African, an average Nigerian does not need 24 hours light. They need between 8 to 12 hours light every day to be able to, okay, I'm not home, I'm going to off everything. I just need the fridge to be on or the freezer to be on, and that will carry it when I'm back. So, and then you have the sunlight that is there for 12 to 13 hours every day. So solar power is going to be the way out for Africa because we have the sunlight we have, and then you have agriculture. People are not looking into agriculture. We have a fertile land. Our lands are very fertile. You throw away, you eat a mango and you throw away the seed. It grows right there. So you don't even need to fertilize the land. So the land is so good that people are coming in now with data analysis using artificial intelligence to say, okay, this area, this can happen here. Now, let's not even talk about our natural resources, which is being wasted away because it's not on blockchain. So my goal is to be able to put modular refineries on blockchain. Why is that? They produce 60,000 to 80,000 liters a day, but it's on blockchain. Anybody can invest from anywhere in the world. Take Venezuela, for example. You wouldn't have the problem if it was on blockchain. So what happened is that from the drilling to the refinery, to the byproducts, to the waste which is tapped on the road, it's all on blockchain, it's transparent, it's secured, and the smart contract automatically pay money to people. So there is no way they can be corrupt or take the money for themselves. So this is a system that we need to build on, the whole world need to build on for transparency. So I'm looking into that. I'm also looking into healthcare innovations. When you look at healthcare innovations, Africa is way behind. Now I'm not happy that COVID happened, but COVID did open a lot of doors for the government of the day to realize that they cannot always run to America or run to India or run to London to get treatment. They have not had to invest in the country to be able to get treatment themselves. So that will also help the common man. Then you look at edutech. You know, last year I was locked down in Nigeria during the pandemic. I was here for 5 months with my family. And for that 5 months, many homes don't have electricity. Many homes don't have computer. So if you don't have computer, how are you going to be able to have education from home? It's not going to happen. So this is a problem that needs to be solved. So there's a lot of opportunities in Africa that we take for granted in other parts of the world that is not here. So it's a question of you copy this technology, bring it back here, and you make it work. You know, it's very simple.
Yeah, I think that's great. I know when I lived in Russia, I started going to Russia in '92 and lived there and moved there in the 2000s, early 2000s. I mean, it was the same kind of way. There were things that just weren't there. It wasn't,
Yeah.
but it came very quickly. Kingsley, very, very quickly. You'd be surprised. I mean, moving from math and science to startups, right? It happened incredibly quickly.
Yes.
So, I mean, we see that in Nigeria today. We work a
Yeah.
lot with Nigerian startups, Zambian startups, Kenyan startups, etc. There's just a phenomenal opportunity. Kingsley?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Can you
no
hear me?
problem. Your image went out.
Yeah. I just had to take care of something. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So what's going on with in terms of Africa? What do you think in terms of Nigeria? What's going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years from where it is today? You were saying about electricity and that kind of thing. What's going to happen? How's it going to evolve?
Yeah. I see the opportunity. I look at Nigeria now the way I look at Japan when I got to Japan about 30 years ago. There was a lot of opportunities. There was nothing in Japan at that time. Yes, they were growing. They didn't even know how to separate their garbage, burnable, not burnable. But when they started with that, the separation and things like that, people have to, it boils down to discipline. So Japanese are very disciplined. So they follow the rules. They use this for that, for that, and they were able to recycle the products. Now I see the kind of opportunity in Africa, in Nigeria in particular. Now, what advantages do we have? We have a young workforce, very young workforce, educated, versatile workforce that are willing to work. They have different ideas. Let it be payment system, let it be healthcare innovations, let it be energy. Just mention it. I had meetings with several of them in the past 3, 4 weeks, and it's just amazing their ideas. But the problem they have is like every developing country, they don't have money to back it up.
Yeah.
Now, this is where blockchain comes comes to play. I am not talking about cryptocurrency right now. So in those projects, people are coming here to invest with traditional finance. The government have programs where you can actually send your money to Nigeria, invest in a program, and they have a system where you can get back your money. Up to now, it has been very difficult for people to repatriate their investment in African countries. The government is making it easier for you to repatriate your money back to your country, which is one of the major problems that was there before because there was no exit strategy. So the exit strategy is there right now. The government is supporting that, and I'm very happy with that. Then you have the population is growing. Africa is going to be 1.7 billion in 2030, 2015. Sorry, 2021, 2025. That's going to be huge. The population is huge, and it's a young population, very young population. And the workforce, they are willing to work. They have the energy. When I watch American football and or American baseball, and I see all these people hitting the ball or going there, you look at how Africans are built. They are built for this game, but they don't have the sports centers. They don't have the coaches to educate them on how to make use of this opportunity, use their energy in the right way, use
Right.
their ability the right way. The same applies to technology. They are all educated in AI, robotics, medicine, this and that, but the infrastructure are not available. So you have an opportunity for investors to invest into the infrastructure. We are not even talking about telemedicine or food delivery system right now because that's another ball game with the population, right? So telemedicine, tele consultation, these are things that are going to happen in the nearest future. So in the next 5 years, Africa is going to grow so high. When people talk about companies in the world, they don't realize that more than 400 companies that have a revenue of over 1 billion are from Africa. They don't realize that.
Wow,
They
that's
just,
incredible.
they just undermine and underestimate the potential in Africa. We have the population. If we were going to invest in a country with 10 million people, and you are coming to invest in a country with 246 million people, take 10% of that equation that is buying your product. It's high. So that is why Japan became successful, because they had the population. But right now they have an older population as opposed to the younger population that we have in Nigeria. So we have power. Then you look at China, for example. People went to China to build their factories, to build their industries, to build whatever, because labor was cheap. But the labor in Africa is cheaper than China and other Asia countries.
So why don't they build there then? What's the problem? If there's so much, how do we get that set up? How do we bring companies to Nigeria?
Awareness. Awareness. People don't even think we have, people don't even think I can live, there's a place like this, People used to ask me in Japan, do you have a TV in Nigeria? How did you come to Japan? I walked. Of course, I came by plane. We have airplanes in Nigeria, for Christ's sake. But they don't understand that. They don't see the opportunity. They just see the negativity that the press is feeding to people. They show the dirty parts of Africa. I have been to 61 countries in the world. I know there's a dirty part in every country. You go to LA, you go to New York, there are good streets. You go to London, there are good streets, but there are also slums. So when they stop showing these slums in Africa and start showing Africa, people will start coming to invest in Africa. And we are not doing ourselves that favor.
Well, I mean, I was on a plane one time with one of the CNN reporters, and I asked a direct question: how come you don't have any happy news? She said, it was Greta Van Susteren. She said that because people don't watch it, they want to see the negative stuff, and so, I mean, I agree. Exactly. I mean, if you talk about the positive thing happen. If you talk about the negative things happen, right? So we got to talk about the positive. I mean, there is a booming population. And by the way, I'm really impressed with the amount of AI startups that are in Nigeria. I'm really impressed because they have AI Saturdays. They really are curating those companies. So it's very, very interesting time. But what are the practical steps? So you got Nigeria. What about the other countries, Kingsley? And then you have North Africa. How's it, do the Nigerians think of Egypt as a, part of the continent, or how do they view Egyptians? How does that look? Are they viewed the same way, or do they work with them?
Of course, there's a big collaboration going on in Africa that people don't understand. There's an exodus of people coming back home. How do they get back to the society is one way probably they don't understand. You have to understand that in the early 90s, the late 80s, there was an exodus of Africans to Europe, Asia, and America. Now, those who left at that time, they are now all about my age, right? And they have to come back home. They are coming back home with knowledge. They are coming back home with experience. They are coming back home with different technical know-how. And when they come back home, they have to impart this in their country. Take for example, Kenya. Kenya came up with M-Pesa. So M-Pesa is still one of the most successful payment system around the world. Now you have M-Koba, which is an energy power, right? So the East Africans were able to embrace different technologies before us, which is good. So now we in the West, in the South, have to learn from them. Now there are collaborations among Africans, be it in agricultural sector, be it in commercial real estate, but we don't need the West, the developed world, to collaborate with us to make it happen, because we don't have the kind of technology or the kind of money to make this happen. So this is where we need to collaborate with people like you in the Silicon Valley. We need to collaborate with tech guys. We need to collaborate with different people, not just money, but the infrastructure, the know-how, the back-end support is needed in Africa. And the trust factor has always been a problem. But with people coming back from abroad, and they have that mentality that we can make this work, it's going to happen. Whether they embrace it or they don't embrace it, Africa is the next big thing to happen economically around the world. It's the biggest market around right now.
Yeah, no,
But
I agree with you, and it's incredible. You're right. The young folks, and 1.3 billion population,
yeah,
growing. I mean, and then the kind of technology needs, for potable water, for solar, as you said. I mean, think about it. And this opens up.
yeah.
Are the governments supportive, Kingsley? How are the governments in
Yes,
the?
there is bureaucracy, as always in every country, right? But the government is making different efforts. The World Bank is even supporting. The industrial banks are supporting. Uh, in my case, the commercial banks has failed the continent because they are not able to give loans to SMEs, even though they have a system where they can actually get the money from their salaries from companies. How do you open a company for your wife if you are working with, let's say, SMBC in Nigeria, right? So
Right.
you have this money coming in. So why don't you give a loan of, let's say, 100,000, 200,000, and then you take it gradually from their salary? We don't have this system. So
Hmm.
they go for the big fish. Oh, we want you to put. We're looking for a client that have 100 million to put in the bank. No, your job is to support the SMEs. Do we even know how many SMEs we have? Do we have that data? To have these data, I think we need to work with the communication companies. Now the government is doing BVN, they're doing NIN. That will create data. It's all about data. How do we use data to support the system? The government is willing to work if they understand. If they
I
don't
see.
understand, they will go against it. So it's all about understanding, giving them the awareness, educating them on what can be done and how it
Are
should be
they
done.
aware in Nigeria today?
Come again.
Are they aware in Nigeria? Do they understand? Are they supportive?
Oh yes, oh yes, yes, oh yes. I mean, there are things that we don't agree on, like for example, the banning of crypto, the banning of these. I would rather they regulate it. I would rather they make regulations to regulate it because it is difficult to actually ban such a thing because it's on the cloud. It's on the cloud, and most people who are young are actually into it. So what happens now is that they're not trading at a risk. I mean, when you make regulations, you actually protect the investors. You protect your own people. So if they're not
Right.
going to protect their own people, then people take advantage of them. So I think we need to actually work on this and find a way to regulate it. I think the government is raising questions about that and how to do that.
No, you're right. I mean, Africa is rising, and audience, if you haven't looked at African startups, if you haven't looked at the region, I mean, it's a great opportunity. Hey, talk to us about your book. Let's see. Do you have your book around there anywhere?
Yeah, thank you. The Beginner's Guide to Financial Freedom. This is a book written by me and my wife, Blanca Kobayashi, who is my wife. We actually wrote the book. You can see our picture there, right there.
Yeah,
We
sure.
actually,
Ooh, you're looking
yeah,
dapper there. Look like
thank
James
you.
Bond.
Gotta dress the part, right?
Yeah.
So during the COVID-19, myself and my wife, we go for walks, and during the walk time, we okay, why don't we talk about something, how we got this far. So we started talking about it. She will record it. She will go back home. She will do the right thing, and that's this book. So it's been translated into Japanese, and that version will be out next month. It's doing very well on Amazon right now because it's what we did is we removed all the big jargons. You know, when it comes to finance, they want to use those big words to deceive you so that you don't understand what they're talking about. You use a dictionary to read a book, you won't understand it, right? It's like when you talk of blockchain, instead of saying a business plan, they say white paper. You don't understand it. It's a simple business plan. That's what we are asking for. What problem are you solving? Why is it that you are the one that can solve the problem? I'm about this, and then how do I get my money back? Which most
Right.
people don't ask for. And then what is your side hustle? It is good. I believe in daily income all my life because I have worked since I was 11 years old. So daily, when you have daily income, you are never poor. because you have a stream of money coming in all the time. So that is what this book is all about,
That,
how you can get your daily income, how you can reinvest your money and become somebody in life.
that's great. Fantastic. So
So
take a look. Where can they
get
get your
yours at,
book?
at,
It's
at
on
Amazon.
Amazon, right, Kingsley?
It's Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Yeah, so take a look
It's
at
on Amazon.
Kingsley's book. Very interesting. We're coming to the top of the hour, Kingsley. What are the closing thoughts and how can people reach out to you?
Yes, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Kingsley Kobayashi. I have an official Facebook, Kingsley Kobayashi, Instagram. Then you can reach out to me at Kingsley at KingsleyKobayashi.com. There's a Twitter handle, and all this is by my wife. She actually does the back end work, so I'm just the front guy.
So you can reach Kingsley on LinkedIn by LinkedIn or KingsleyKobayashi.com. Check him out on Twitter. Kingsley, thanks so much for taking time of your busy schedule today to join us here on GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. My friend, it's always good to see you.
It's a pleasure, Gary. I'm happy
Tell
to
your
see
wife,
you.
tell your wife
Yes,
I say hello.
I will. She
Go
was
ahead.
happy to be with you on talking. She was happy to be with you there and spoke very well of you. And thank you for being there for us always, and happy to be your friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have you too, and great to be friends with you. So thank you very much to my audience. Thank you for joining us today for GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I'm your host, Gary Fowler. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another edition of GSD Presents. Be safe, be happy, and keep smiling. So thank you very much. Take care,
All right.
and see you again.
Thank you, Gary. Ciao.